The Kansas City Chiefs' two biggest tests of the 2024 season might just be weeks 1 and 2 versus the Baltimore Ravens and Cincinnati Bengals, respectively. But they are gearing up to take on at least one of those opponents, the Baltimore Ravens, without their shiningest star acquisition from this prior preseason $7 million wide receiver Hollywood Brown, and maybe both of these games will be sans Hollywood. Now, the Kansas City Chiefs do have other answers, and in an article from Pete.Sweeney.io of Arrowhead Pride titled "Chiefs Confident in Their Receivers Even Without Hollywood Brown," subtitled "Kansas City Added Brown Hoping He Would Be Ready for His Former Team, But the Rest of the Room Has Them Confident," we get some insights into this wide receiver room. But I think what was underplayed in the article is that the Kansas City Chiefs may have, in fact, a hidden weapon that we have been looking at all along. Well, not all along. In fact, basically just recently along for the Kansas City Chiefs. But no one is really talking about this possibility. If you like or appreciate what I do here, hitting the like button does help me out, as it tells YouTube to share this video with other Kansas City Chiefs fans. And the Chiefs are the only thing I talk about on this channel, dropping Chiefs news, analysis, and opinion every day. So if you find yourself here by chance but not design, consider hitting the subscribe button to stick around for more. Now let's get into what this article says. The article says this: early on in training camp, it became clear that the starting receivers in 11 personnel, 3 wideouts, would be Brown, Worthy, and Rashee Rice. And when Brown went down, the first name mentioned by offensive coordinator Matt Nagy was veteran Justin Watson. Now, extraneous to the article, this is just from me, I think there is much less Justin Watson hate in the fan base than there was immediately following the season. I think that everyone was kind of salty about the way that season not played out, but played in. The way it played out was with a Chiefs victory in the Super Bowl, and everyone was pretty happy. But along the road, there were definitely bumps in the road, and I think Justin Watson got an unfair amount of that burden. I don't think Justin Watson ever wanted to be as prevalent and prominently featured as he ended up being at times last year because of injuries and other just kind of no one can play, Justin, we need you on the field. So I think he took a little too much of the... So there's way back when, there was a quote from Nick Wright when he was still doing the evening show on 610 that will stick with me forever. He was talking about Thigpen. Tyler Thigpen was the starting quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs, yes, for a little while. And this included his very first game starting against the Atlanta Falcons. And everyone was furious after that game because he looked so bad. Like, he didn't just look bad. Guys, he looked bad where you would be rightful in your anger, but not at Tyler Thigpen. One of the things that Nick Wright said was, look, Tyler Thigpen didn't ask for this. Tyler Thigpen was the third-string quarterback, maybe fourth-string quarterback, kind of at the beginning of camp, a guy that you thought wasn't going to be on the team. All of a sudden, in Atlanta, he becomes the starting quarterback. He did not ask for that. He gave you the best he could give. That's how I feel about Justin Watson in last year's offense. Justin Watson is a great number 5 wide receiver, a really good number 4 wide receiver. He was just thrust into being, at times, the number 1 and number 2 wide receiver. He didn't ask for that. The article continues, Watson came to the Chiefs in the run-up to the 2022 season. Since then, the coaching staff has learned he is a reliable player. Justin's always been a big part of it, silently, said Andy Reid at the podium Sunday. He doesn't say much, and he doesn't get a lot of publicity. He's always been a pretty big part of what we do. That part won't change. He'll be in the running, he'll be in there running around. And even when Hollywood comes back, he'll be in there running around. He's a smart kid that's skilled and loves to play the game. He plays hard every snap in practice and in games. I stand by the fact Justin Watson is a great guy to have on the team. Justin Watson is able to contribute on special teams. Justin Watson's a guy that you don't mind being on the field to run some post routes. He had maybe a little bit more trouble last season than he had in 2022, but I don't think he was the weakest part of this wide receiver core at all. But that's not where I want to go with this video. Justin Watson's going to be on the field. Justin Watson's probably going to be the third wide receiver on the field because Hollywood Brown is not there. However, I think we're going to see more contribution from another player than we are willing maybe to accept at this point. The article continues later on to say this: to perhaps ease any final wide receiver uncertainty, Kansas City decided to bring back a familiar face last week, JuJu Smith-Schuster. After dealing with knee issues the past few seasons, the Chiefs say he is now healthy and has been a breath of fresh air for the quarterback. It's super exciting to have JuJu Smith-Schuster back, Mahomes said on Sunday. I mean, just the person, man. Being in the locker room, being in the meeting rooms. He gets it, man. He gets how to be a pro. And then he works hard. He's out there. He looks great. I'm excited for him to just continue to learn the little things that we changed in the year that he wasn't there, 2023. But he's picked up a lot of the stuff really fast, and it's going to have that, and it's good to have that type of guy in the receiver room. Now, a couple things here. Number one, I saw an interview with Patrick Mahomes talking about JuJu Smith-Schuster. I don't think he gave these quotes. Meaning, if my memory serves me correctly, and this article, as transcribed by Peter.Sweeney.io, is correct, that means Patrick Mahomes has been talking about JuJu Smith-Schuster and singing his praises in multiple interviews. Okay, great. Might mean nothing, but it seems Patrick Mahomes does not just trust JuJu Smith-Schuster. It means Patrick Mahomes just does not just know that he can rely on JuJu Smith-Schuster. It means he is outright excited to have him on the field. That means something. And as mentioned in that last little bit there, he already knows the offense, or at least Andy's terminology, meaning that he's able to pick things up very fast. Outside of that, it would be a holdup, but not the worst thing in the world for Patrick Mahomes to look at JuJu Smith-Schuster before each play they go out there and say, JuJu, you're running a slant, and if it's man, you're going deep. That's it. How much verbiage is that? How long did that take me to say? Maybe they won't be on the same page, but JuJu is never, to my memory, and he's been around for a long time, JuJu has never been the guy who has trouble reading defenses, at least that I can remember with JuJu Smith-Schuster. Meaning, not only is he a bright guy, and he seems to be a bright guy, but he's also going to be responsible with the routes he runs. He's not going to misread something and accidentally run a route that does not go on the field. The way that we seem, again, we're not in the huddle, but we seem from time to time to have seen from Mecole Hardman. Now, here's where I want to go a little bit deeper. I want to talk about some numbers. What I always try to do here on the channel is bring you guys a source, an opinion, and some facts. In 2022, JuJu Smith-Schuster had 14 starts, 101 targets, 78 receptions, 933 yards, a 12-yard average, and a 102.5 rating when targeted. This is essentially the exact same season that we saw from Rashee Rice last year. Rashee Rice in this offense as a rookie ended up having 16 games, 8 starts, 102 targets, 79 receptions, 938 yards, good for an 11.9 yard per reception average, and then he had a rating when targeted of 123.7. That 123.7 is aided by the fact that he scored 7 touchdowns compared to JuJu Smith-Schuster's 3. We all remember that 2022 offense had a little bit of difficulty getting the ball into the end zone. Now, that may seem all to be irrelevant because JuJu Smith-Schuster is a year removed from this productivity. But I will remind you, JuJu Smith-Schuster for that season was, where are we at here? One season removed from an 800-yard season. He went from 831 yards in 2020 all the way down to 129 in 2021 with missing time. Then he rebounded to 933 yards for his season with the Chiefs before going back down to 260 yards, still more than Sky Moore, last season for the Patriots. So he would be rebounding from a larger basin, 11 games and 260 yards, versus the first time he came to Kansas City, where he was trying to rebound from 5 games and 129 yards. He had twice the season last year that he had the first time Patrick Mahomes made him a reclamation project. Still, to this day, that season with the Kansas City Chiefs, 2022, his 77.2% catch rate is a career high. His 102.5 rating when targeted is a career high, and his run after the catch of 465 yards is the second highest of his career. And I will remind you this as well. 465 yards, right? Not 500 yards. Less than that, 465. The second highest run after catch total of his career. Guys, JuJu Smith-Schuster has a 97-yard touchdown in 2 of his seasons in the NFL, meaning that he has a run after the catch play of nearly, each of those occasions, over 50 yards. So over 20% of that total in one play. One of them, I believe it was the 2018 season, that 97-yard reception was like 90 yards run after the catch. So here's the next thing I want to talk about. This year here, his 2022 season with the Kansas City Chiefs, I think that athlete is still alive and well within JuJu Smith-Schuster. He's only 27 years old. He has had difficulty with injuries. The Chiefs say he is now healthy. If that JuJu Smith-Schuster is still alive and well inside this JuJu Smith-Schuster that was a 260-yard wide receiver for the Patriots last year. In that season from 2022, 101 targets, 78 receptions, 933 yards. If that is still possible from JuJu Smith-Schuster, the average game from that 2022 season was 7 targets, 6 receptions, and 67 yards. Is there among us anyone who has been saying that is the likely game outcome from JuJu Smith-Schuster this entire time? Does anyone have it in their prediction log that against the Ravens, JuJu is going to go 6 for 67? I don't think the Ravens do either. It might be, if JuJu Smith-Schuster is the JuJu Smith-Schuster JuJu Smith-Schuster had been, that the Kansas City Chiefs have a secret weapon, especially early in the season when everyone is guessing that Hollywood Brown won't be available and they're trying to figure out how to defend Rashee Rice and Xavier Worthy. All of a sudden, JuJu Smith-Schuster pops up on the field. JuJu Smith-Schuster shows out. 6 receptions, 67 yards. Might not sound like a lot, but by the end of the season, it becomes 78 receptions for 933 yards. If that's the season that JuJu Smith-Schuster has, Patrick Mahomes is passing for 6,000 yards. That's all I have for this video. If you like or appreciate what it is that I do here, hitting the like button really does help me out, as it tells YouTube to share this video with other Kansas City Chiefs fans. And if you find yourself here by chance but not design, the Chiefs are the only thing I talk about on this channel, dropping multiple videos every single week, dropping Chiefs content, news, analysis, and opinion every day of the week. And I hope to have you back for the next one.